Next we have Sarah Feist, who I think has become a runner as well, if I follow your Facebook page properly. 75 pounds, and again, LOS admin assistant. So we thank you for making the trip today.
Hello, this is totally nerve-wracking. My name is Sarah Feist. I live in Hazen, work at Leland Olds. I've been in Hazen about 5 years and Leland Olds about 4 years. I guess growing up, I've always been tall. I've always been the tallest in my class. I was athletic. I played basketball. I started out in college playing basketball, and it didn't really pan out for me. And so I quit, and I kind of fell into that college thing, gained some weight. No big deal. Went on to school, do a little more school, gain some more weight. Finished school, moved to Bismarck, and if you know me, like, I love to cook, I love to drink beer, I love to go out, and that hasn't changed. But that's what made me gain most of my weight. Moved to Fargo, met more people, went out more, ate at more places. You can see where this is going. Anyway, so I knew that I was just eating too much unhealthy food, and I just didn't, I guess, really care very much at the time. I was just having a lot of fun with my friends. I didn't have a boyfriend, nothing like that. My dad is a bigger guy. He has diabetes. I thought I was just big boned and destined to be that way. And kind of got sick of being that way, got a little more active, started cutting out carbs from my diet, lost weight, went up and down, and I just never really stuck to anything. And got married, and actually I think moving to Hazen was kind of my tipping point. Moving to a small town when you're in your 30s, you don't have any kids, it's really hard to meet people. And I didn't have any friends. It was just me and my husband. And my husband is like the most social person. I mean, he'd be friends with this computer screen by now. I mean, he's just super outgoing. He works at the biggest place in Hazen, so he knew everyone. I had stayed back in Fargo to sell our house, and so I moved to town. I didn't have any friends, didn't know what to do. So like I said, I love to cook. So I was cooking all of this food, baking. I love to bake cookies, cakes. It's just my husband and I. I don't even have any friends to give these baked goods to. So I had gained a little bit of weight after we moved to Hazen, and then I got sick of it. I was just finally, it was my tipping point. I was tired of sitting around being lazy. My husband's always on the go doing things, and he was kind of my motivation for me to quit being so lazy. He doesn't work out or ride bike or run or anything, but he's always just doing stuff. So I heard both these guys mention dates too, and I'll remember this date forever, but it's April 1st, 2013, I decided to change my life. And at the time, I was like, well, that's April Fool's Day, so if this doesn't work, it's not that big of a deal. Like, that's a horrible way to think, but I did stick it out. And I kind of went online. I was super embarrassed, of like the shape I was in, so I was going to work out at home. I found some, like, Shape magazine even has workouts you can do, and I was going to do this in my basement, and I was going to do it every day, eat healthier, because I knew how to eat healthier. It's no secret to lose weight. I mean, we all said you gotta eat healthier, move your body. I just decided to do it, and I stuck with it. And I told my husband, and he encouraged me. I told my folks, things like that. So it took me about a year, and I lost about 75 pounds. I just started looking online, reading like healthy living blogs and wellness things, and taking tips from that. And my cooking, less baking, more healthy foods. And it's been a process for me, and it's still a process, and I imagine it will be for the rest of my life. I've always liked veggies, but I never really liked fruit that much, so I would start eating like maybe some strawberries cut up with a little bit of sugar, and then, in a month or so I would have no sugar on the strawberries, and I'd try some blueberries, and your taste buds do change. I think that's one thing people don't realize, like, well, I eat pizza and I go out to eat every day, I can't eat healthy. You can't change overnight. It's definitely a gradual thing. Like, I would eat a lot of people say, don't eat the microwavable meals that are low calorie or whatever. If that's going to start you on your path, I say go for it. I mean, it's got to be better than what you're eating right now. And I'm talking as a person who was obese. So I'm not talking like 10 pounds or whatever. But it's a gradual change. Eat the yogurt that's full of sugar, and then try to go to non-fat and then Greek yogurt, and just work your way up. It's a gradual change. working out is a big thing for me. I agree with Sarah. You cannot out-exercise a bad diet. But for me, I've kind of, the two are connected a lot. I work out probably 6 days a week. I really enjoy working out. It's become a passion of mine. And I try to eat then to fuel my workouts. So I don't want to eat cupcakes every day. I'd rather have fruits and veggies and things that make me feel good. I rarely ever like bounce out of bed and like, okay, I get to go work out today. This is going to be the best ever. Usually it's like, oh my God, it's 4:30 in the morning. What am I doing? But once I get there and I say, okay, give myself 10 minutes. I'm going to do this. I feel so much better. It's actually like the high I get after working out, kind of that endorphin high that I really love and crave. I don't know if it's the actual starting to work out thing. And one thing I never thought would happen is I'm actually teaching a spin class now in Hazen at our gym. I just started that last week, so that's pretty cool. And that was also terrifying. I was like, 10 minutes before class started, no one's there. I'm like, oh God. But people did show up actually, so phew. That's going good. I really like to bike. This picture up here on the left is my mom and I. This is, her shirt says 2013, but that was a free shirt she got there. This was actually 2014, the Southern Hills Sprint Triathlon in South Dakota. This was probably like the happiest day of my whole healthy wellness thing. This was kind of the first event I ever did. I knew how to swim before this, like I could jump in the lake and without a life jacket, but I didn't really know the strokes or anything like that. I grew up in a small town. We didn't even have a lake by us. So I taught myself how to swim also by looking online. There's a lot of information online. I got a bike and I biked around Hazen like a billion times. I mean, the town is like 5 miles wide. So I biked a lot in town and I started running. So this was a half-mile swim, 12-mile bike, and a 5K run. And I wanted to finish in an hour and 45 minutes. That was my goal because I really suck at swimming. And I finished like right there and at 1:45 and I crossed the finish line. My mom and dad, my sister was there, and I was like crying everywhere. I'm a mess. My face is red there, and it was a hot day that day, but I think it's red because I was crying. And then the one on the right, the little collage, that was last Labor Day at the 2015 Southern Hills Sprint Triathlon. And I went in a lot more prepared. I took some swimming lessons at BSC here. So I learned a little bit more proper techniques. And the bike and the run, my mom took most all these pictures. And then the food afterwards, that's always amazing. And then as far as my exercise, I like to make it a daily task. Like my husband knows I'm going to go every morning or every afternoon or whatever. I schedule it in like I go to work every day. That just helps me. One thing I do want to mention is not everyone is going to be supportive of your journey. I don't know if you guys found that to be true, but I've been called selfish. People like, why don't you just eat whatever you want? I mean, just very insensitive things. I was called fat and overweight, and people are like, you lost too much weight or you're too skinny, which, that's just as hurtful to me. So you got to rely on people that are in your corner. The person who's calling me selfish is actually a family member, so that's super hurtful. But I don't have any kids, and that's none of anybody else's business either, I don't think. But so I guess that maybe is my hobby. I know a lot of my friends that do have kids make working out a hobby of theirs as well. They incorporate their kids. So the people that say negative things, you just kind of got to push them aside and know that they're probably not in your corner. This here was a half marathon I ran last year. And my mom's in the background again. My mom is like at everything I ever do. Doesn't matter how old I get. But this was another big milestone for me. And you can see on the top, I was probably just as scared as I am right now talking to you guys. It wasn't cold out or anything. I was just scared. And so I finished and I was super happy. Woo! And then afterwards, the West Fargo Fire Department was there. And that was a lovely way to finish a race. I mean, yeah. I was like, can I have one more picture? And so, like Paul said, running is a great exercise just because you can do it anywhere. If you're traveling, you can just get up and run. It's a great way to see a city. Biking, you can't always take your bike anywhere. One other thing, like I was too embarrassed to work out at a gym when I first started working out, so there's a lot of DVDs I did at home. I like Sean T, his workouts, like Max Insanity and T25. And I was working out a lot at home in the basement, sweating everywhere. And my husband was like, okay, enough, you need to go somewhere else because you're ruining the carpet. And so finally, when I got to feel more comfortable, I joined the gym. I started taking group fitness classes, which I think are super intimidating to start. But you kind of like get to know everyone, and then if you miss, they wonder where you're at. And it's not, they do not make fun of you. That's what you worry about when you first go to them. But I found the opposite to be true. They're all very accommodating, want you to try things and just do the best that you can do. Then, okay, I'll touch. I'm the one that's like, I'll talk forever. I'm super nervous, but I can talk about this forever. As far as the food, what I found to be super helpful for me is meal prep. Like I said, I really love to cook. I think I'm a good cook. I have a website, actually, I do on my own personal time. It's called feistyEats.wordpress.com, and it's not affiliated with work. I just, like, I put what we do socially, vacations we take, food I make, things like that, exercising that I do. And meal prep is a big thing for me. During the week, you know, we're always busy. We got places to go, things to do. So a lot of times on like a Sunday and a Wednesday, I'll take time and prep my food for the week. Like I almost always have yogurt and fruit and like homemade banana bread for breakfast. I came up with a healthy recipe for this banana bread and I'm addicted to it right now. So I'll make up like 3 or 4 things of yogurt just so I can come home, grab it, good to go. I wash all my fruits and veggies, chop them, cut them up. Like I have a rotisserie chicken here from Sam's Club. Sam's Club actually is a great place to shop for healthy food. I mean, I know they sell a lot of junk there, but they sell a lot of good food there too. This one here, I wanted Nicole to put up new food finds. I was talking with somebody about this at lunch today, so I just wanted to mention it real quick, but some ways to cook your food and save time. New gadgets. Okay, so I don't know if y'all have heard of the Instant Pot, but it's like a pressure cooker, slow cooker. It'll make yogurt, it'll saute. It's about the size of a slow cooker. It's about $100. I actually got it with my points on Amazon, and I'm obsessed with it. I think I've had it probably a month, and I've used it every week, and I'm trying to find new ways to use it. My coworker said he's been making yogurt with his, so now obviously the only next thing to do is to make yogurt that's better than his, so I'll be working on that. He let me taste it today, and it was pretty good, so. The other thing I got was a spiralizer. This is the gal that invented one of these gadgets has a website called inspiralize.com, and it basically is just, it'll cut your veggies into ribbons or, I don't know, spiralize them, kind of like you see the carrots up top. I did those with the peeler, but that'll do like one constant spiral. So I like to do sweet potatoes with them, cucumbers in a salad. It's just like an easier way to eat veggies. My husband hates sweet potatoes and I love them, but when I spiralize them, he will eat them. So I don't know, there's something to it. I think kids would like it too, I'm not sure. And then the third thing is we went with our neighbors and we bought a full CSA share from Forager Farms. They deliver to Hazen, which is great. And my husband's also like a super great gardener and he cans food and he's really good with that. So I'm like very cheap, so I refuse to throw veggies or food away. So having these things gives me like different ways to cook veggies up. Like if I steam cauliflower, my husband's like, that stinks, I'm never going to eat that. If I roast it in the oven, it's like candy and he eats it. I mean, it's just amazing, different ways to do that. Paul mentioned an app he used for counting calories. Another good one is Lose It app. I've used that. I use Runkeeper for running. There's tons of stuff out there. It's amazing. Like I said, I'm kind of a volume eater too. Like, I want my plate to be full. I don't want like the little chicken and the little rice here or whatever. So like that spiralizer is great because it makes a sweet potato like this into a big volume of food. Some other ways to make veggies interesting are like to add infused olive oils, or there's a ton of salt-free seasonings, like Flavor Gods has some, even Mrs. Dash has a lot of different flavors to add to your food. And then I found for me, if you can't control yourself around it, keep it out of your house, I can bake and make brownies or whatever. It was my husband's birthday today, so I made him a cheesecake with homemade caramel frosting or icing, whatever to go on it, and if he gives me a piece, I probably will enjoy it. I'm not sure if he will. So like moderation or whatever. But I kind of lost my train of thought right there, but whatever. One other thing I wanted to mention was, okay, this is the marathon relay in Bismarck, and these are all coworkers. We did it, that was my second year doing it. Yeah, Dave ran as the Blues Brothers there, that's his outfit. He ran with a harmonica, and he played it. I'm like, I'm just trying to run here. Like, I can't even hardly breathe, and you're playing a harmonica. Okay. But that was the second year we did it, and I think it'll become a yearly tradition for me, hopefully. So that's another way to make fitness fun, is to go with your buddies or take your dog or whatever. This is my girlfriend Elena. This was at the 10K in Fargo in October. This is actually the last event I did. I hurt my foot, so I've kind of been recovering from that. And then one thing I wanted to mention too about losing weight has, like, somebody asked what was your motivation to keep going. For me, it's just, I don't want to go back to feeling how I used to feel. I remember, like, sometimes actually when I get into my car and I fit in my seat and I can buckle up my seatbelt, it's like, I can't believe this is my life. I mean, I never used, my stomach used to be way out here. It's just so bizarre. Like, I see pictures of myself and I don't really think I look like that sometimes. I mean, it's kind of hard. It's definitely a mental thing to grasp, but it's allowed me so many things to do with my life that I never thought possible. Like, in the past year, I've been skydiving. I probably couldn't have done that with what I used to weigh. My mom and I went skydiving together, actually, and then my husband came later behind us. Just this past winter, I went downhill skiing for the first time ever, cross-country skiing, snowshoeing, rode a fat tire bike. I went hiking for the first time. There's so many opportunities, like, around Hazen and Bismarck to do outdoor activities, and I never did any of that before. So that's kind of sad to know, but I look forward to doing more things and hopefully going kayaking and swimming and things like that. Go ahead.
Sorry, I just had a question. Does your husband do these activities with you, or is he?
Okay, she asked if my husband does these activities with me. Some of them. He's an outdoorsman, but he's more into, like, hunting and fishing, and that's not really my cup of tea. I'm trying to get him to do a kayak or canoe with me. He doesn't run. He did buy a bike, but he doesn't really like to bike with me because he says I go too fast. He's more like, let's take a, stroll through Hazen, and I'm like, let's work up a sweat. But so I kind of, like, I have my interests and he has his interests there, so we don't do all of it together, most of it not together. I did get him to join the gym in January and February, but he hasn't renewed yet for March, so we'll see. And then I wrote down finally just a couple of points that I found to be true for me. There's more than one way to be healthy or lose weight. I mean, that's why there's Atkins and Jenny Craig and paleo and veganism, whatever way you want to eat or lose weight. You just got to find, like Sarah said, something that sticks with you and what you like. You don't have to be perfect. Like I said, it's my husband's birthday today. I'll probably have a piece of his cheesecake. I still drink beer. One good way to reward yourself if you meet a milestone is to maybe have a piece of cheesecake or go to a brewery or whatever it might be. I did quit drinking for like 6 weeks when I first started losing weight, and it helped. There's a lot of calories in beer, but it's not something sustainable that I'm willing to give up forever. I would give up, brownies before I gave up beer, so that's just not going to happen, and you just got to figure that out for yourself. And then give yourself time to become healthier. Like, it's not going to happen overnight. It's a constant growing, learning thing. Meal prep is huge. If you have cut up veggies and fruit in your fridge, it's so much easier to grab instead of crackers or chips. Exercise doing what you like. It doesn't have to be running. It doesn't have to be biking. If you like to do Zumba with your girlfriends and you will stick with it, stick with it. Take pictures. That's another thing that's super motivating. We all have the before and afters, but in between there's like progression. The scale might not change. And actually, I've gained like 10 pounds recently. I've started doing some weight training since my foot's been injured, but my clothes are fitting better. So it's not necessarily always the number on the scale, but if you take pictures, you can see your body change, and that helps a lot for me. Because like I said, I still kind of have this disconnect between the way I look and the way I did look. Strive for consistency. Like I said, if you can eat healthy and a certain diet works for you, stick with it. And then finally, my other thing is just surround yourself with support. Because like I said, not everyone is going to support you, but those that do are like really valuable. Because when you're having a down day and you feel fat and you're, you know, something doesn't fit right or whatever, your girlfriends that are there for you that'll lift you up are like, it's priceless. So I think that's all I got. Talked for a long time, sorry.